Dave knows how.
Okay, so last night we kind of had to stop filming because it got dark, but I wanted to show how I come up with the place where I was going to drill these two outside holes. So basically, we had scribed the line, we went on and welded these threaded studs on the inside of this round piece, and then we set it right down so that the studs would be sitting right on that scribed line. We took our 6-inch scale, set it over here on the edge and measured, and then went over to this edge and measured to this threaded stud from this edge, and we just slid it back and forth until we had them equal distance. And so we knew that would center it this way, and that line going across this way was already centered this way. And then we just took the scratch awl and just scratched a little line. We just eyeballed it center with this threaded rod, put a little scratch here, went over here on this side, put a little scratch, then moved this out of the way. And then we moved those scratch marks up to where they intersected with this line, center punched it, drilled the hole. And that gave us a decent alignment where that thing fits right on there. So that turned out pretty good, and it was an easy, simple way to do that. Anyway, this end of this round piece where the weld seam is, this is going to be the bottom, and we need a place to latch the chain that holds the PTO shaft safety shield still while the PTO is turning on the inside of it. So I found these were left over from the super shaker soil sifter that we built. If you haven't seen that video, pop on over there and check that out. That's pretty interesting little video. But what I'm thinking about doing is we don't need this thing to be this long, so we'll probably whack this thing off with a angle grinder. And then I'm thinking maybe we'll just weld this right on the bottom here. And we're going to use that as a place to attach that chain. So anyway, that's the plan. We're just going to, whack this thing off down here somewhere because it doesn't need to be that long. So we'll go ahead and get the stuff together, grinder, and whack this thing off. Let's get a measurement. Let's see how long that thing should be. Let's see, if I let that thing stay up about like that, and we bring 2 inches below there, and 1.5 inches above here, somewhere in there. 1.5 inches. 2, so we're looking at about 3.5 inches long. So if we cut this 3.5 inches long, which would be roughly right around in here, whack that off. That should be plenty long enough. Let me go down. We got 3 of them. We got 3 of these. We actually got 4. There's another one around here somewhere. I don't know where it is though. Well, let me take these out there and whack these off. Not bad. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. All right. Gonna rotate this around just a little bit. So we broke out the paint and we shot a little black paint on the back mounting plate. And it's been hanging here for a couple of days. Seems like it's dry, so we're gonna go ahead and pop this down and see if we can't get this installed over there. Looks like it covered pretty good. Let's check out the other part and see how well it's painted up. So we've got the other three over here hanging, and we sprayed them yesterday, so they've been up here hanging for about maybe 24 hours or so. And I'd have rather prepared this metal a lot better than I did. I cleaned up the places where I welded at, but I really should have ground this metal down to where it was clean before I painted it. But I felt so bad. I wasn't having a good day yesterday, and my hands was hurting and my arms was hurting, and it was just more than I could do to really properly clean this metal like it needed to be before I painted it. So I just, I got to keep that in mind and keep an eye on it. And if it, if the paint starts to peel, then I may have to go back and repaint. If it starts to rust, I may have to touch it up. I'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how well it holds up. But I did use this Krylon paint, and I painted these things with the old rattle can, and I really like using Krylon paint. You really ought to try it if it's available near you. I know a lot of people use Rust-Oleum, and Rust-Oleum makes a pretty good paint, but this Krylon has always been a great paint for me. You don't get nowhere near the runs with the Krylon as you do with the Rust-Oleum. Now granted, if you know what you're doing, you're a good painter, you can paint with pretty much anything. But the Krylon actually goes on a lot better, I think, than the Rust-Oleum for somebody like me that doesn't do a whole lot of painting. And when I do paint, I'm generally in a hurry and I want to get a coat of paint on it fast. I don't want to, do a light dusting and come back and another light dusting and build the paint up. And that's kind of what you need to do with the Rust-Oleum paint. If you don't, you end up with runs. This Krylon paint, you can really kind of throw it on there. Not super thick, but you can really throw it on there, and most of the time it will not run. And that's great for me. And also it dries really fast. This thing says dries in 10 minutes or less on the can. And does it really fully dry in 10 minutes? No, it doesn't. But it will dry enough where you could actually handle the thing and not get paint all over you or anything else. And it dries to that point in 10 minutes. Fully cured, it probably takes a little longer than that. This has been hanging up here for about 24 hours, and I mean it's pretty cured. And it covers well. So if you've never tried Krylon paint, you really ought to give it a try. Now, this is paint that I buy. This is paint that I use. Krylon doesn't send me this stuff for free. They're not a sponsor of the channel or anything like that. If Krylon would like to sponsor the channel and send me some paint, I'd be happy to use it. Be happy to take it. But they don't, and you know, probably better for you guys that I can give you my honest opinion about Krylon paint. Had really super good luck with Krylon paint. My older brother actually started me using Krylon paint probably when I was 10 years old, and he always had good luck with Krylon's rattle can paint. And so if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me to try, and I tried it, and I've liked it. And it was kind of hard to find anywhere that carried the Krylon paint, but here recently, Lowe's Home Improvement, I noticed that they're actually carrying Krylon paint. So I bought this at Lowe's, and wasn't a bad price, and does a good job. Let's go ahead and cut some of these down, and we'll go ahead and mount these up along with this back plate. Scale, and we measured off the edge of the round part over to the edge of the threaded stud, and then went over here to this side and measured. Scared the shit out of me. We went over here and measured from this side to that threaded stud, and Lord have mercy, that's gonna be a good blooper right there. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.